present, the Vice Chancellor of Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Honorable Metropolitan, Municipal and District Chief Executives, Nananom, representatives of various political parties here present, representatives of various religious bodies, heads of departments, my good friends from the media, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. We are gathered here this morning to participate in the government town hall meeting and also the second program in the series of the first ever results fair in Ghana to highlight the positive interventions of this government. This program is being organized through the joint collaboration of the Ministry of Information and the Ministry of Monitoring and Evaluation here in Kumasi. And as a region, we are grateful for this opportunity to host the program. On behalf of the chiefs and people of the Ashanti region and the Ashanti Regional Coordinating Council, I warmly welcome you all to this very important program and hope that this very important interaction on government's accountability on its performance will move us as a country to a totally different level of thinking and to better understand the direction of the government. Your Excellency, Nananom, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, over the past few years, since the MPP government took over the reins of government, that was about 3 years ago, there have been tremendous strides in the history of our nation. His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, ably supported by His Excellency, the Vice President, Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, have worked endlessly and tirelessly to bring the country to the level where we can confidently say that we have moved ahead and can compete with other countries on all standards. Your Excellency, it was indeed no secret, and we can all attest to the several positive government initiatives that have been introduced and implemented and are making great impact on our people and drastically changing lives. These interventions, to mention a few, include the free senior high school policy, granting for food and jobs, one constituency, $1 million, one district, one factory, digitization of the national economy, and the Ghana card registration exercise, just to mention a few. Like the good old book says, nobody lights a candle and places under a bushel. It is important that the good works of the government are exhibited for all to see. We will therefore witness today and testify to the good deeds of the MPP government under the able leadership of His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the President of the Republic of Ghana. In addition, we will also receive information on implemented government policies, programs, and projects, and also receive feedback from the public for policy refinement. This is clearly in line with the vision outlined in the President's coordinated programs of economic and social development policies, named Agenda for Jobs, Creating Prosperity and Equal Opportunities for All, 2017 to 2024. It is for this reason of interaction and feedback that town hall meetings are held in all the regions of Ghana for the mounting of exhibitions for metropolitan, municipal, and district assemblies to showcase their projects and programs. Nana Chair, Your Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, Nananom, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I am reliably informed that the main objectives of this evidence-based results fair are to, 1, showcase the progress of implementation of government policies, programs, and projects. 2, provide an opportunity for the people of the Ashanti region to interact with the sector ministries and metropolitan, municipal, and district assemblies. And 3, to provide opportunity for knowledge sharing and idea sourcing to help bridge the resource-based information gap. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, outside this great hall, you will find pictorial evidences of all the great and positive interventions of government on display in the various stands. There are also designated officers who promote engagement and interaction with the citizenry, who seek clarification on the displays in the stands. I will encourage distinguished participants gathered here this morning to make this interactive engagement very fruitful and make constructive contributions without being insulting or provocative. Ghana belongs to us all, and the more commitment we exhibit, the better for us all. Let us work together as one people, one nation, with a common destiny. On this note, Your Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, Nananom, Honorable Ministers of State, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, once again, I welcome you all to the Ashanti region and especially to the city of Kumasi this morning to participate in this memorable town hall meeting, as well as the second in the series of the Made in Ghana Resource Fair, and wish us all a very insightful interaction this morning. Thank you very much for your kind attention. May the Almighty God bless us all. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Honorable Host Minister, Honorable Simon Osei Mensah. Nana Chair, with your indulgence, I'd like to acknowledge a few more of our distinguished invited guests. All of us are very distinguished and we are all invited, but time will not allow me. I have a rather long list, so please bear with me if I do not mention your name, but I will find time within the program. My brother and friend, Henry Nana Boakye, is the National Youth Commander of the New Patriotic Party. He's here. I recognize you. I recognize Honorable Amwaku Atta, Member of Parliament for Etiwa West and Minister for Roads and Highways. I recognize you. The Honorable Minister of Transport is sitting right by him. Honorable Kwekwe Siama, I recognize you. Honorable Sheikh Mustafa Abdul Hamid is the Minister responsible for Inner City and Zongo Development. Alaj, I recognize you. Honorable Kofi Ada is Member of Parliament for Navrongo Central and Minister responsible for Aviation. Honorable Minister, you are recognized. Honorable Mohammed Awal is Minister for Business Development. Honorable Minister, you are welcomed. Honorable Isaac Esiama is Minister for Youth and Sports. Honorable Minister, you are recognized. Former Defense Minister, current Chair of the Governing Board of the Senate, Honorable Adokufo, I recognize you. I recognize the Honorable Catherine Ablima Afeku, Minister of State. I recognize you. I shall continue with the acknowledgements and we shall all be duly acknowledged. We are all welcomed. At this juncture, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the men and women who are assisting in executing and implementing the vision of His Excellency, the President on the ground. There are 43 municipal district and metropolitan assemblies in the Ashanti region. The Dean of the College of MMDCs is Honorable Joseph Owusu Odenchem. He shall give us a short message on behalf of the hard-working MMDCs. Honorable Odenchem.
Thank you. Your Excellency, the Vice President, Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia, Bantamahene, the representative of Otumfuo and chair of this great program. I crave your indulgence to switch back to local BBC. Nananom Mahima for the regional minister, Madi Siunaso, Osada, a year MMDCs, Adrianami and Saya, Inina Yano. Regina, the regional minister, Pabwa Casinum, na said the Abrofo Ekase, standing his existing protocol. No. Jan Pabwa Casinum, Emma Atitu, a Wahina, acquired by Fata. Yeah, Santemantemo, Ira Kufuado, Mampenini, Nadama, and a member named Mabawa, or they pain, a mudro, a power, say Yemra, Nibijana Nemu, Ewo mentioning Kumanano, na Impuntua, Ghana for Adishiko Krumuti, Ede Neba Benyaso, Wapese or Debe Somono. Injina na nemo na yemfansom ene yeshia na nadaroma ne mampanyini abedi akire awfata ena ebepa entoma ewo dwumadie ho na yafrase abu nkonta emfie miensa Ghana for de abenwen ma no de waye na de omoa Ghana for ahyase kase se adwuma pa efata nto aso de a omadane brofo se for more for nanano de wode ni mfie men se di kan ye no wode bekyere asanteman ene adehye ya hoho akwa titire wo mu ne se dwumadie eye omamu dwumadie nanso wo hwe asanteman mu so wode eba ha ye dana se oba abemu na ofa eye mensiri na eye district Mako eduasape ene waha na ye kasei na daroma ne asantemaya ompese obeja ye kire no onye ya bronti no wababai empensini mansini no mu ede mako edumiensa 13 abepi yeso na ya nkire mu a unhu no ese ebi da wanum a na atubi ebene tinadama se wode mpuntuo nam district ne so ene so ma de hye wo Ghana ha na ninim die mu hu se opempuntuo ne se beba abeduru ade hye ntem enchentem nti wotre eye district no mu na wa anya ya bro na wode mako edumiensa bepi yeso a ene ama mebra panyini keye memeyo ne komu aheha no kakra oman eye keka ne yechicha onuanom meyofo eka no ho na omoji akohomakro na de kohwe constituency be 9 na ono nko ade ne de ehwe dubaako ene ne constituencies na ka enum ya waimum di ensia ka ho a edimirika pa te se Usain Bolt edi mpunto ebre kumase ene ne mpatamu na me mama semon no yaseda ewie nebeye krakra na matra ase no eye nyame otwedi ampondia se na ebinum susu se panyini ontumi nya mampanyini da nenne woye mampanyini ani nyuma pa eda edi na yewie akọ eye park so yewie akọ park so ne akọ gina district butu ho akyerɛkyerɛ adɔfo ne adehye a ɔmo pɛ hu yɛde wie ne sɛ mampanyina bɛde akyerɛ wadaroma wopa ntoma yi wie a adwumadie gya yɛ regional minister na wɔmfa nyaeɛ yɛdeɛ ne sɛ yɛne bɛhwɛ adeɛ kɔkafoɔ yi ɛyɛ nhyehyɛ adanseɛ nti ɔmo ani akyerɛ emra district ne nyinaa ɛmɛfa enwuma a yɛde bɛkyerɛ yi so ɛmɛdi adanseɛ ma amansa nyinaa nte bisa ampa ye nyuma ne de enye photoshop eye real shop dongo ni be ka se eye fili ga dochi eye fili ga dochi nyame nhyira me nyina me dama se
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Drobon Mayor and Dean of the College of MMDCs Ashanti. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I shall get back to the acknowledgements. I have a long list, and we shall do well to acknowledge everybody. Honorable Collins Tim is Deputy Minister at the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development. Honorable Francis Aban is Deputy Minister, Ministry of Health. We have Honorable Patricia PJ, Deputy Minister, Environment, Science and Technology. Honorable William Sabi, Deputy Minister at Monitoring and Evaluation. Honorable Dr. Yao Educhum, Deputy Minister, Ministry of Education. I see lots of agency heads. I see you. I shall recognize you. I see my senior brother, the founding executive director at the Dankwa Institute, Gabi Asari Dako. I see you. I recognize you. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, there is a group of about 45 hard-working individuals elected by the good people of the Ashanti region to represent them, and they are so ably doing that in Parliament. The head of the caucus of the Ashanti regional MPs, who doubles as the Deputy Minister, Environment, Science and Technology, is also here to share a few words of encouragement with us. The representative of the Parliamentary Caucus of Ashanti, Honorable Patricia Apieje.
Thank you very much. The representative of O24 said to Dublin as the chairman of this occasion, Your Excellency, the Vice President of Ghana, Haji Mahmoud Bawumia, Honorable Regional Minister, Honorable members of state, ministers of state, the members of parliament here present, the honorable MMDCs and all other chief executives, Nananom, external traditional chiefs and queen mothers, the members of the clergy, the leadership of our great party, and representatives of other political parties, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, our students and members of the media. And now I am bebre. Sir, ne yebedi juma sronko bi and ne yama yempenifor aba sa yemetie ejuma dia yaye. Yeah, members of parliament, ya juma din eka ho bi ena ene ye be pa sa jumadi a ye be ye ehwo ntama adwuma din no ene sen adwuma din ne se party ana government wasonda ye soronko a opese odi bebu oman. But onunku antimi sorry and yes adwuma chair members of parliament and in the yadwene na ni susu ye emra ene enhyehyɛ a ɛwɔ sɛ yenya edidi sa adwuma yi saa nneɛma di nyinaa no members of parliament Ashanti region caucus yɛne yɛdɔɔso yɛka ho bi ne ayɛ saa adwumadie yi ama ene dwumadi a yebepa ho tuma atumi aba efisɛ ɔman panyin ansa na ɔde ne da yɛso bɛbɛ mu no na ɛho hia sɛ obenya sika no ɛhemfa na obenya no wɔne a ɔne wɔn etu anamɔn ana baabi a ɔkɔbɔ bosia ne nyinaa ɛyɛ adwuma sɛ mobɛhwɛ a ɛbra yɛbɔ members of parliament din no nipa kakra bi na ma yensa so ipese mi gina ha na me kire mo se ye the representatives na ba ye if you say me ka say parliament city a dwumadie a ɛho hia baako paa ma yɛ mmɛn ɛma asomdwoe security ɛne ho nneɛma ɛkɔ soɔ no ɛkɔ so wɔ parliament wɔ hɔ a ama ɛnnɛ nti yɛn nyinaa yɛntumi amba sɛdeɛ yɛpɛ no na adeɛ baako a mepɛ sɛ mede ɛto yɛn nyinaa yɛnim ɛne sɛ MPs adwumayɛ no sɛ wotie me nua yɛ odi kan kasaeɛ a ɔse mpuntudwuma no ɔmo na yɛapa wɔ mo ɛno nti na ɔmampanyin akyekyɛm anya 45 districts sɛ yɛmfa nyɛ adwuma mmarahyɛbadwamfoɔ yɛnyɛ deɛ ɛne sɛ yɛhyɛ mmara ne yɛde atae akyire afei nso yɛhwɛ sɛ sika a yɛbɛtwa ɛde aba district anaa yɛde bɛkɔ ministries yɛde ayɛ adwuma no yɛbɛtumi aboa ama saa nhyehyɛe no nyinaa akɔ so na yɛnhunu sɛ sika no yɛyusu no ɛkwampa so ɛno na yɛyɛ Fred Brafo kasɛm oversight ɛno na yɛsrɛ sɛ amanfoɔ bɛte yɛ adwuma n'ase na ɔmatumi ne yɛn adwene wowɔ haw bi a yɛn na wɔ sɛ ɔne yɛ adwene na yɛso yɛtumi atu ɛho anammɔn but adwuma no ɛda fam paa ne deɛ ɛyɛ district and municipal and metropolitan assembly for ɔmo na ɔmo di saa adwuma yi nti yɛhu sɛ yɛmmɔdebɔ ama yɛabɛn akɔ n'anim na futuo kakra a mepɛ sɛ yɛde ma yɛn nyinaa yɛwɔ ha ɛne sɛ da biara meka saa asɛm sɛ yɛfa yɛasante man mu ha se a yɛn nana bantamahene bɛgyina ha nsɛm bebree ɛna wɔkaeɛ ba wohwɛ yɛamammuo mu a yɛamammuo mu nsɛm a aban a atena so akyɛ ne NDC aban na ɛnam sɛ ɛbere biara a wɔn bɛba no yɛ development agenda yɛnka ho na yɛn hyɛda ɛnte aseɛ ne yɛnyɛ adwuma nti ɛno nti na aba ne saa nti ɛnnɛ si yɛbɛdan dwumadie soronko adi na yɛde akyerɛ asanteman a nea mekyerɛ ne sɛ mɛsrɛ mo madaroma mabotrɛ ɛbɛhia yɛn ɛfiri sɛ sɛdeɛ yɛasi ahyɛ ase a yɛasisi yɛn nan no saa ne yɛbɛsrɛ sɛ mobɛtaa yɛakyi ɛfiri sɛ monni obiara a wɔbɛyɛ yɛn abɛn ya na bere biara yɛba a yɛde mpuntuo ba asante nti yɛbɛsrɛ montaa yɛakyi na yɛntumi de dwumadie no yɛda mo ase ɛwɔ
yɛda mo ase monta yɛkyi na yɛnkua ɛna bɛtumi ayɛ ɛde ama mo. Thank you very much, Honorable Patricia Apieje. Ladies and gentlemen, I shall now invite the Honorable Minister for Information, Kojo Oponkroma, to give us a brief statement on purpose of gathering. Honorable Minister of Information, my boss and Member of Parliament for Ofuasi Eyiribe.
Thank you, Honorable Pius. Omampeni Abedi Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, Nana Otiedwem, ministers, any deputy ministers are Waha MPs, ni MMDCs, any chief executives Waha, Nananum, any Nananoma Hima, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Anope Yechia Obibia Waha say. Esanso damo asese mwenya bre abeka ye ho e wodwumedie ye a ye ba bedi Ghana Mrakuni Constitution say abre bia e wo se aban bia ebu nkonta e kire ne manfo potokasa no ofre no probity and accountability na do danko akufo ado aban no atena akonya kese so emfie miensa ene bosumi mienu pe emfie miensa ne bosumi mienu no yesusu se emra so se ibu akonta kire Ghana fo adwuma yaye sabre mu enkontabuo no ye fa no na fanan be miensa ye di kan abra ye bontoa 2016 no ebɔhye ahodo a ye hye Ghana fo sɛ tumi bɛka yɛn nsa a sɛ adwuma wei ne yɛbɛyɛ. Owura Adodankwa Akufo-Addo ɛne n'abediakyire Dr. Mahmood Bawumia ɛhyɛ bɔ mmaako ahasa ɛne aduɔwɔtwe 388 manifesto commitments. Na sɛ yɛhwɛ petetakram na yɛhwɛ adwuma a yɛayɛ a yɛgye di sɛ yɛabɔ yɛn ho mmɔde adum mpɛmpɛnsuo bi a yɛtumi ne Ghanafoɔ si nkonnwa na yɛbu ɛho akontaa kyerɛ wɔn sɛ yɛn nuanom adwuma a mode hyɛɛ yɛn nsa ni yɛde aba abɛdu nie. Deɛ di kan ɛyɛ manifesto promises no. Deɛ ɛtɔ so mmienu yɛ nneɛma bi a saa berɛ no yɛanhyɛ ho bɔ, yɛnsusu dapo sɛ ɛbɛa bɛto yɛ akwantimfi, nanso ɛbaeɛ no yɛsom na yɛayɛ ho adwuma. Deɛ ɛtɔ so mmiɛnsa ɛyɛ ɛkwan a aka wɔ yɛnim ɛfiti saa berɛ yi kɔpem afe na wie yi a mfeɛ 9 de bɛso no so no. Adwuma a yɛhwɛ na yɛayɛ. Ɛno ɛna ɛna nɔpɛ wie yɛsi nkonnwa wɔ ha sei ɛwɔ the first government town hall meeting for the year 2020. Sɛ yɛba abɛdi ɛho nkɔmmɔ. Ɔmampanin abɛdi akyire nankasa Alhaji Dr. Mahmood Bawumia no ɔno ɛsɛ kakum yɛde no kwaku anum no ankasa na ɔde ɛbɛkɔ nsɛm nyinaa na pɔ so na wakyerɛkyerɛ. Our expectations are simple. First, that all stakeholders here will pay attention to the data that will be put out today. This conversation is about data. And so we invite all who want to participate in this conversation to come forth to examine the data, and where they have other views, challenges, to come forth with their own data. It will not be about anecdotes. It will not be about suspicions. It will be about hard, cold, verifiable data. We welcome all of you, and we look forward to a fruitful conversation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Kojo Oponkrumah, Minister for Information. Sheikh Abdul Mumin Harun, the Regional Chief Imam, and the Islamic Ulama, we recognize you. We also recognize all Christian clergy present. I shall now invite the Minister for Monitoring and Evaluation, Honorable Dr. Anthony Akutuose, to share a few words with us. This program is being organized by the Ministry of Information and the Ministry of Monitoring and Evaluation in collaboration with the Ashanti Regional Coordinating Council. Honorable Minister.
change we have voted for will have to start with each of us.
This mid-20th century is Africa's. This decade is the decade of African independence.
As we celebrate Black History Month this February, Net2 TV brings to you captivated documentaries of Black personalities across the world, showing
is happening on the ground, and that the change that the people of the Ashanti region, the change that the people of Ghana voted for, is happening right there on the ground. To be able to do that, and before we take the keynote address, ladies and gentlemen, I invite you to come on a tour of a few of our districts as you see major infrastructure happening on the ground. We shall show you a brief video documentary of work happening on the ground. May I also inform that this program is live on the national broadcaster, the Ghana Television, our affiliate media houses, all of them are here. We thank you for your partnership. We are showing live. These are the districts, the 43 MMDCAs in the Ashanti region. The hardworking regional minister is coordinating the president's effort in the region. This is the zip line. We see our colleagues, recipients of the allowances that were taken from them. We have restored the allowances. We have restored the allowances for teacher trainees and nursing trainees. We are delivering emergency medicine by drone, the first of its kind, that size, the first of its kind, not only in Africa, but indeed the world. His Excellency the President cut short for the construction, I believe, of a road, a major road in the Ashanti region. The school. Asukwa, you are right. Evidence-based. This was how it was before. This is how it is now. Change is happening. Change is happening. Completed classroom block at Manso and Kwanta. The chief's compound is under construction. District of insurance offices have been commissioned. These pictures were taken, we have taken these pictures from the file. All these projects are now completed, are in use. Health theater and maternity block, Sechedumase Polyclinic. the roads, the roads, the roads. Kumasi Road, Etimetim. We are desilting the drains. Petransa from Sian Quarry Junction to Petransa Bronkrom boundary. This road is now completed. This road is now completed. Kumewu runabout with associate drains and curbs on adjoining roads. Reshaping of Oyoko Banko and Setre Akrofomso feeder roads. Akrofomso, thank you very much. Evidence-based. Evidence-based. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I give you my word, these videos are out there, they are on screens. They are on screens, and we shall take time to go through the entire presentation before we leave here. We shall also send this to our mobile phones via WhatsApp so that everybody can see that work is happening on the ground. At this juncture, this is just a teaser. At this juncture, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the moment is here. We promised, we have delivered. We promised, we promised, we promised. Let me feel the energy. We promised, we promised. Change is happening. Thank you very much. May I at this juncture, Nana Chair, the rare privilege and honor to invite onto the podium the second gentleman of the land, the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Please let's receive Doctor with a big round of applause. A big round of applause for His Excellency the Vice President. A big round of applause for His Excellency the Vice President.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Anabantamahene, representative of Otumfuo Setutu II, Regional Minister, Ministers of State, Members of Parliament, MMDCE, our father, Dr. Adol Kufuor, Chairman of SNIT, Board Chairman, CEOs, and Deputy CEO, Vice Chancellor of the KNUST and the Pro-Vice Chancellor, heads of departments, deans, staff, and students, clergy and imams, our General Secretary, Indefatigable John Boydru, the MPP, and National Youth Organizer, Nana Boachi, friends from the media, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I bring you greetings from His Excellency the President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. It is a pleasure to have the opportunity to share with you our assessment of the economy and our assessment of the implementation of our manifesto promises based on the data. And also, I would like to take this opportunity to shed some light on a number of issues that are no doubt of concern as far as the economy is concerned. So basically, we are going to let the data speak
speak for itself. So let's start at the beginning. The MPP, under the leadership of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, was largely aware of the nature of the problems that existed in the economy before we came into office. We had analyzed the economy before we came. We analyzed these problems, talked about them, and put forward solutions which were largely captured in our 2016 election manifesto. Some of the problems that existed in the economy, many of which were worsened following the 8 years of the NDC government, included declining economic growth, high inflation, high interest rates, high rate of exchange rate depreciation, high fiscal deficit, rapid accumulation of the debt. In fact, the debt increased 12-fold under their government in 8 years. 2012, of course, election year, no electricity price increase. 2013, they gave it to us, 78%. 2014, 23.36, 28.36%. 2015, 59.2%. This is electricity price increases. We promised that we will do a decrease in electricity price increase. Okay? 2016, of course, there was no increase, another election year. But 2017, our first year in government, there was no increase in electricity price. 2018, we reduced electricity prices by 22%. And by the way, this is the first government in the history of the Fourth Republic, first government that has reduced electricity prices. First government. In 2019, we increased the prices by 11%, but when you take the net between 2019 and 2018, in net terms, since we've been in office, we've reduced electricity prices by 10% in net terms. And it has not happened so far, any government in the Fourth Republic. And therefore, it is a promise that we have fulfilled. Reducing inflation, ladies and gentlemen, by 50% between 2016 and 2019 is really a remarkable achievement. The major achievement that we've done to reduce inflation. In fact, the sterling performance of the Bank of Ghana and the leadership of Governor Addison in bringing down inflation is among the reasons why the Bank of Ghana was just last week selected amongst all the central banks in the world. The Bank of Ghana last week was selected as Central Bank of the Year 2019. Central Bank of the Year 2019. It has never happened. It has never happened that our central bank has even featured there in the top 3. Historically, it has never happened. Normally, we have won African Central Bank of the Year. We have won that before. But to win the world or the global Central Bank of the Year, it tells you that something good is happening in Ghana under Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. And the steady disinflation process has provided scope for a significant monetary policy easing. The Bank of Ghana's monetary policy rate has been cut from 25.5% in 2017 to 16%, a total of 950 basis points or 9.5%. So if you see on the left, the Bank of Ghana policy rate is on the left. You'll see that under the NDC, you see a steady increase in the interest rate. Again, they are taking us up the mountain, and we are having more wahala as they are taking us up. But with the MPP in office, you've seen that we have turned that around, and we are coming down the mountain under Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. And you have seen that this has resulted in a decrease in lending rates, even though we still want to see lending rates come down. We've come down from 32% in 2016 to 23.6% in 2019. That's a major reduction, but we will keep working to do more. Ladies and gentlemen, I now turn to our performance in the external sector. Ghana's external payments position has strengthened. For the first time in 20 years, the trade balance, that is the difference between what we export and what we import, that is the trade balance, the difference between our exports and our imports. For the first time in 20 years, the trade balance has recorded a surplus for 3 years in a row. We recorded a surplus in 2017, a larger surplus in 2018, and an even larger surplus in 2019. And this is not because we are importing less, but it is largely because of increased exports as a result of the positive transformation of this economy under the MPP government. The positive trade balance has resulted in a significant narrowing of the current account deficit as a percentage of GDP. So you see the graph on the right, which shows the current account, and you see that the deficit was large. It has gotten smaller and smaller and smaller under the NDPP. Improvements in the current account performance and increased capital flows have helped to boost international reserves over the last 24 months. Gross international reserves have reached 7.05 billion in December 2018, 3.6 months of import cover, increased to 8.4 billion, 4 months of import cover at the end of 2019. Ghana's net international reserves have also increased from 3.4 billion in 2016 to 5.1 billion in 2019. So our reserves are growing and are healthy. I now want to turn to an interesting topic on the minds of many Ghanaians, which is the exchange rate of the cedi and its development. Ladies and gentlemen, the exchange rate, and I want you to pay attention on this section because there's so much propaganda around it. So the exchange rate is simply the price of one currency relative to other currencies. So the cedi to the dollar. At the basic level, it is influenced by factors such as the relative demand and supply for foreign currency. It is a price, just like the price of any good or service. How much of one currency does one need to give up to get the unit of another currency? And generally, it reflects the purchasing power of one currency relative to another. Countries have a choice between two basic types of exchange rate regimes. You can have a fixed exchange rate regime, which is one which is administratively fixed by the government or the monetary authority, with fiscal and monetary policy deployed to maintain the fixed exchange rate regime. So the CFA countries, for example, operate a fixed exchange rate regime. In practice, countries will devalue or revalue their currencies in line with their fundamentals. The other type of exchange rate regime is the floating exchange rate regime, where the exchange rate is determined by the forces of demand and supply. Ghana operates a floating regime or a managed floating regime, and for that reason, in Ghana, we can or should never expect that the exchange rate will be fixed. We are not operating a fixed exchange rate regime in Ghana. It will fluctuate depending on the demand and supply. What policymakers can do is to try to control the rate of depreciation or appreciation of the currency through sound policies. In the context of a floating exchange rate regime, therefore, arresting the depreciation of a currency can only mean slowing down the rate of depreciation or stopping the rapid and volatile depreciation of the currency. That is what arresting depreciation means in the context of a floating exchange rate regime. In general, there is a direct relationship between higher inflation, especially non-food inflation, and the exchange rate appreciation or depreciation. And if you look at the table that is here, it tells you fundamentally what determines an exchange rate in an economy is largely driven by inflation differentials. Those are fundamentals. Other factors can happen in the short run to affect the currency, but whenever you have higher inflation relative to the currency you are dealing with, you will have higher depreciation. When your inflation lowers, you will have lower depreciation. And this is what we are seeing in this graph. So, with this background, how has the cedi performed under the leadership of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo in the last 3 years? The answer is very simple. You look at this table, which looks at the average rate of depreciation of the cedi since 1992. Between 1993 and 1996, first term of the Fourth Republic, the average rate of depreciation of the cedi was 27.95%. 97 to 2000, 25.19%. 2001 to 2004, we drastically reduced it under President Kufuor to 11.4%, and 2005 to 2008, the second term, to 6.7%. 2009 to 2012, 10.9%. Under the NDC government of 2013 to 2016, it was 18%. Under Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, it is, for the first 3 years, 8.7%. So, you see from this table that the cedi exchange rate under the MPP from 2017 to 2019 is twice as stable as it was under the NDC from 2013 to 2016. It has depreciated by 50% less, right? We are twice as stable under the MPP. And you should know that under the NDC, our currency was basically depreciating at the speed of Usain Bolt. Now, under the MPP, we have arrested the rapid depreciation of the cedi, and we will make no apologies for that. We have arrested the rapid depreciation of the cedi. But why does the NDC, in the face of such incontrovertible evidence, why do they keep insisting that they can do a better job of managing the cedi in the face of such incontrovertible evidence? Ladies and gentlemen, it is like you have taken an exam with somebody and they score 40% and you score 80%, and they come out to say they know the subject better than you. What will be that? What will be that? What 40%? Makochura manya 80%. Usi unimsa cheme. Where who way be that? In fact, in the history of the Fourth Republic, Akufo-Addo, the president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, has the best performance for any first-term government since 1992. The best performance. The data is there. The best performance. The overall best, of course, is Kufuor's government so far. But that was the second term. So MPP will take number 1, will take number 2 position. We are the best. Under Nana Akufo-Addo, as far as managing the depreciation of the city, the best performance for any first-term government since 1992. All the worst performances happened under the NDC. They hold the record for the first worst performance, the second worst performance, and the third worst performance since 1992. But notwithstanding that they are the worst performance, they still want to challenge the best performance. Hey, Asemo. Ladies and gentlemen, at the end of 2008, at the end of 2008, the exchange rate of the cedi to the dollar was 1.18. 1.18 cedis to the dollar. They came into office, and after 8 years, they moved the exchange rate to 4.2 cedis to the dollar. So they quadrupled the nominal value of the exchange rate. It's not even triple jump. They added one jump to it to make it quadruple jump. Right? It's not triple jump. They made it quadruple jump from 1 to 4. From 1 to 4. Now, for those of you who know your mathematics or arithmetic, you know the percentage change from 1 to 4 is very significant, isn't it? We have gone from 4.2 to 5.35 in just 3 years. If you go from 4 to 5 versus 1 to 4, is it the same percentage increase? Right? One, you are getting close to 200 and something percentage increase. Another, you are around 20%. It is not the same. Indeed, the MPP, for us, if the cedi is to match what the NDC record is, we will have to do a quadruple jump, which means we have to move from 4 close to 16 to be able to match their record. Is that clear? Yeah, if you are going to match their record in terms of the nominal change in the currency, if you quadruple the 4, you will go towards 16. But we have only gone from 4 to 5.35, and they are making noise. So, thankfully, ladies and gentlemen, this year, the cedi is performing quite well and reflecting the fundamentals. And currently, the cedi is the best performing currency in the world against the US dollar. As we speak this year, with an appreciation of 3.4%. Ladies and gentlemen, the data shows that Ghana's macroeconomic fundamentals are strong. Indeed, the strength of Ghana's fundamentals was confirmed recently by Moody's ratings, which changed Ghana's sovereign ratings from B3 with a stable outlook to B3 with a positive outlook. This is unprecedented for an election year. For an election year to have that sort of change in the ratings outlook. Standard & Poor's also upgraded Ghana's sovereign credit rating from B- to B with a stable outlook last year. This was the first upgrade by Standard & Poor's for Ghana in 10 years. This is a strong affirmation of the positive assessment by international financial markets of Ghana's economic fundamentals. In fact, at the time President Kufuor left office, Ghana's sovereign credit rating with Standard & Poor's was B+. This fell after 8 years of NDC government to B-. And the President Nana Akufo-Addo's government is bringing this rating back up again. This is clearly a testament to the solid policies and reforms yielding fruits. Just last week, Ghana successfully issued the longest dated Eurobond ever issued by a sub-Saharan African country, with investors placing $15 billion of orders for Ghana's 41-year bond. We issued a 41-year bond, the longest in the history of sub-Saharan Africa, and it was 8 times oversubscribed. 8 times oversubscribed. That is a remarkable vote of confidence in the economy of Ghana. The 7-year bond issued attracted the lowest coupon ever for Ghana at 6.375%. 6.375%. When the NDC issued a similar bond in 2016, it attracted 9.25%. Just look at the difference. 9.25, 6.3. Huge gap in interest rates. It means they are more confident in the economy under the MPP than under the NDC, and they are willing to give us lower interest rates for that. I'm now, ladies and gentlemen, want to touch on a subject that is very, very important to Ghanaians. This is the banking sector cleanup that the Bank of Ghana has undertaken. There's too much propaganda around the issue, and we need to understand it and understand it well. So, as I noted earlier, we inherited a financial system that was weak and fragile, with several institutions that had collapsed or were on the verge of collapse. Bank of Ghana, in cleaning up and strengthening the financial sector, revoked the licenses of 9 banks, 23 savings and loans, and 386 microfinance companies. Many of these companies were not working at all anyway. They were dead. The Bank of Ghana did not just do this because they felt it was time to create suffering for depositors and difficulties for the owners of those institutions, as the NDC is forcing us to believe. Rather, the central bank did this cleanup to protect the financial system and save hard-earned monies of hard-working men and women, like those bustling at Swami Magazine, Kumasi Juemu, and Edum right now as I speak. Furthermore, we should all note that many of these financial institutions were dead. In many cases, they were not even paying their depositors or employees at all or regularly. There were countless instances where customers would travel several kilometers for just 200 cedis withdrawal, and they were told to go and come another day. This had become an unending spin for these good and innocent people. Cobras are. Indeed, the current central bank leadership inherited what was pretty much like a body with a cancer in the toe. If you don't give up that toe in time to end the rot, you will soon move from one with a rotten toe to one without a leg, because the rot will eventually spread to your hip, and then you are going to have to lose the entire leg. The swift and decisive action taken by the new management team at the Bank of Ghana provided relief for the financial system as a whole through the funds provided by the government for depositor payouts. Ladies and gentlemen, let us remember that the failures of these financial institutions that we witnessed were a direct result of a system of poor licensing, non-existent capital, weak corporate governance, related party transactions, and so on. And this has actually hurt so many innocent people, depositors and employees alike. The NDC government and the previous management of the Bank of Ghana had ample time to address the impending failures. They were aware of the problems in 2015 in the case of banks, and as far back as 2012 in the case of savings and loans and microfinance companies. In fact, President Mahama, in the State of the Nation address in 2016, stated as follows, and I want to quote the former president. He said, and I quote, "Mr. Speaker, over the past 5 years, there has been a proliferation of microfinance companies. These companies come under the direct supervision of the Bank of Ghana. Unfortunately, lack of effective supervision has resulted in many cases in which microfinance companies licensed by Bank of Ghana have breached the rules and created supposed pyramid schemes that have eventually come crashing down. One such case is DKM. DKM, with super high interest rates between 50 and 55% promise, is believed to have caused a loss to its clients of 77 million. Many depositors have lost their livelihood." End quote. This was the State of the Nation address in 2016. So the government were aware of the problem, and they had been aware of this problem for over 5 years for savings and loans, and since 2015 for the banks. But they had no courage to deal with the cancer at the heart of the banking system. They had no courage to deal with it. Even in opposition, I alerted the country that on the basis of available data, 8 banks were likely to collapse. I'm sure many of you remember it. I, as an opposition member, said, looking at the data, 8 banks will collapse. You need to do something about it. But they did nothing. They refused to act. Thanks to the Bank of Ghana's cleanup exercise and the government's decision to step in to provide financial support to ensure an orderly exit of the failed institutions, over 1 million depositors have had access to their deposits already, and over 7,000 jobs have been saved as a result of employees who have been taken on by the GCB or Consolidated Bank Ghana Limited or the receivers. Employees whose salaries and employee benefits had been unpaid by the defunct institutions have been paid or are being paid by receivers. Can you imagine what would have happened in this country if 4.6 million depositors had lost their deposits? Can you imagine what would have happened in this country if we had allowed this collapse for 4.6 million depositors to lose their deposits and over 10,000 individuals who have lost their jobs? The benefits of the banking sector cleanup exercise are evident for all to see. We now have a stronger and more resilient banking sector than ever before, and the deposits in the banking system have increased significantly as customers' confidence in the system has rebounded. We should never forget, ladies and gentlemen, we should never forget that under the NDC, we had the messy liquidations of the BCCI in 1999 and the closure and liquidation by the Bank of Ghana in the year 2000 of the Cooperative Bank and the Bank for Housing and Construction. Also under NDC, the collapse of DKM and the proliferation of unlicensed financial services such as PIRAM, R5, God is Love Fan Club, Men's Gold, and others that took advantage of their customers. With this background, I find the NDC's newfound care for indigenous firms quite baffling, given the number of indigenous firms that collapsed under 4 years of doomsor under their government. Why didn't their government bail those firms out? Those firms that collapsed as a result of doomsor. Where were the specific policies to support them? Do they know how many jobs were lost? What did they do about that if they cared so much about jobs? What about the jobs of the microfinance companies that collapsed under their watch? Did those people not matter? Well, still, they are telling people, the people of Ghana, that they would have kept the indigenous institutions alive even after they found that they had obtained their licenses, in some cases, based on false and non-existent capital, or after it became obvious that they had siphoned off depositors' funds and the liquidity support that the Bank of Ghana had provided to those institutions. Is their idea of an indigenous financial sector one that is characterized by fraud or unlawful activities? Ladies and gentlemen, if you own a business and you employ somebody and they bring their certificate, you employ them, give them a job, and then later on you find out that they have actually presented a fake certificate to obtain the job, and not only that, they are stealing your money to build a house, will you not sack them from work? Will you not sack them from work? You will not keep them in employment. Will you say that because this person is from my village, I can keep him with a fake certificate and allow him to continue stealing my money? You wouldn't say that. A lot of these banks were engaged in fraudulent practices and poor corporate governance, and the licenses, some of the licenses were obtained fraudulently. And therefore, the Bank of Ghana had to take action against them. We cannot say simply because you are indigenous banks, we should allow you to collapse the entire banking system. Nobody takes any pleasure in revoking a license of any institution. It must be a painful exercise. And I'm sure the Bank of Ghana, took its time in doing this. But it is important to note that all the 9 indigenous banks that were closed were to a large extent taken over by 2 Ghanaian indigenous banks, GCB and CBG. So we are ensuring stronger Ghanaian ownership in the banking sector. Also, the Ghana Amalgamated Trust, with 100% Government of Ghana ownership, has successfully invested in 4 indigenous banks that were unable to meet the new capital requirements. It is noteworthy, let us note, that no bank was closed only on account of not meeting the new minimum capital requirement of 400 million. No bank was closed because they couldn't meet that. There were other matters that resulted in closures. Ladies and gentlemen, government has already spent over 13 billion. This is unplanned. We had not budgeted for it. 13 billion Ghana cedis, paying depositors of banks and other financial institutions. And President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo gave the assurance on 24th of December last year in his Christmas message. And it's an assurance I want to repeat, because it doesn't seem to have been carried far. And it is an assurance that no depositor of a savings and loan or a microfinance institution will lose any of their deposits, not even one person. No depositor will lose. So we want fairness. What we have done for those who have deposited in the banks, we are going to do the same for those who have deposited in the savings and loans and the microfinance. Everybody will get 100% of their deposits back. That is going to happen. And it is starting. Because all these depositors, they lost, through no fault of their own. So the government has asked the receiver, working with the Bank of Ghana, to expedite the validation and payment of the depositors so that all the depositors will receive their monies after their validation. I also want to add that the President has also said that if we are treating all the savings and loans depositors in this manner and making sure we are giving all of them 100% of their deposits, then we should extend it to the DKM depositors and also give them 100% of their deposits. So they will also now be included in the refunds so that they will receive their deposits. So we are therefore cleaning up the mess. We are cleaning up the mess the NDC created in the financial sector. The NDC was unable to do it. They were aware of the problem, but they refused to act. Given their management of the economy, they could not find the money even to pay teacher training allowance or nursing training allowance. Where would they have found 13 billion Ghana cedis to pay to depositors to rescue them from the collapse of the banks? They couldn't do it. They didn't have the space to do it. But now we know, and I am sure, that left to the NDC, our banking system would have collapsed by now if we had left this to the NDC. But now they are going around saying, oh, we are going to pay everybody there's money. You couldn't pay teacher training allowance. Where are you going to get a 13 billion? From your management. The Ashantis have a proverb. Asantifuwa mu obe. Mubube se kwatu kwasi obama wontoma. Tie ni ding. Enyasa. Se kwatu kwasi obama wontoma. Tie ni ding. If they could have done it, they would have done it a long time ago. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are cleaning up the banking sector. We are now moving into the real sector of the economy. We promised in our manifesto that we are going to move this economy from a focus on taxation to a focus on production. So notwithstanding the revenue challenges that we inherited, we took the decision to reduce taxes in the economy. We understood that the tax burden on individuals and businesses was high following the high tax increases under the NDC regime. We were aware that this could worsen our revenue challenges in the short term, but we were of the firm conviction that reducing taxes will spur growth and increase revenues in the medium to long term. In fulfillment of our promise to move the economy from a focus on taxation to a focus on production and growth, we have thus far reduced at least 15 separate taxes. Reducing these taxes was a brave decision. For any manager of an economy, you come in with an economy which is in very, very dire straits, and your first action is to reduce taxes. It's not conventional. It is not orthodox. It is unconventional and unorthodox, but we knew it was the right policy for Ghana, and we went for it. So, in fact, no such broad-based reduction in taxes has ever been implemented in Ghana's history since 1957. No such broad-based reduction in taxes has been implemented. You see from the table, we abolished the 17.5% VAT on real estates, abolished the 17.5% VAT on selected imported medicines, abolished the 17.5% VAT on financial services, abolished the import duty on spare parts, abolished the 1% import levy, abolished the 17.5% VAT on domestic airline tickets, abolished the levies imposed on KIA, reduced import duty for all goods, excluding vehicles, 50%, and vehicles, 30%, abolished the excise duty on petroleum, provided a full corporate tax deduction for private universities who plow back 100% of their profits into the university, reduced the National Electrification Scheme levy from 5% to 3%, reduced the special petroleum tax rate from 17% to 3% to 13%, replaced the 17.5% VAT with a flat rate of 3%, and granted capital gains tax exemption on stocks traded on the Ghana Stock Exchange. So this is phenomenal, and we expected this to help us boost. Despite these tax reductions, the data shows that revenue collection in nominal cedi terms has actually increased by 25% annually since 2017. In terms of real growth, the average annual real growth before 2017 of revenue was 7.2%, and after 2017, it is 8.4%. Despite all these reductions, it is also important to note that the average dollar equivalent of collections before 2017 was $5.89 billion a year, and after 2017 it's been $7.57 billion a year. Beyond the reduction in taxes, we proceeded to focus on production in the real sector. Virtually every government has noted the need for Ghana to change the structure of the economy through diversification and by shifting from the focus on raw materials to value addition. This is the key pillar in Nana Akufo-Addo's Ghana Beyond Aid agenda. To accomplish this, we are implementing the following programs: planting for food and jobs. We are increasing, we've seen a major increase in production of cassava, rice, maize, soya, plantain, and so on. We are actually exporting these goods now. We've established the Ghana Commodities Exchange. One district, one factory is on course, and 79 or so factories and the schemes are at various stages of construction. The process of starting an integrated bauxite and aluminum industry is a major step in this diversification and innovative financing. The Ghana Bauxite and Aluminum Development Corporation law has been passed. The Ghana Integrated Aluminum Development Corporation has been established, and we are doing a similar thing for the iron and steel industry. A national automotive policy has been brought out, and we will see, I think next month, Volkswagen will be in Ghana to establish a car assembly plant in Ghana. Volkswagen, and by August we expect Toyota to do the same, and we will continue giving incentives to Kantanka as well as all of these to get the local production going. So, ladies and gentlemen, economic growth, which was on the declining trend, has been restored. GDP growth was 8.1% in 2017, 6.8% in 2018, and is projected at 7% in 2019. And this is compared to 3.4% in 2016. Ghana's GDP growth now for 3 years in a row is amongst the fastest in the world. For 3 years in a row, our GDP growth is amongst the fastest in the world. Non-oil growth has increased from 4.6% in 2016 to 5.8% in 2018 and a projected 5.9% in 2019. The recent growth performance has been driven by industry and agri sectors, and agri particularly reflecting the effect of the policy interventions in the sector, most notably the planting for food and jobs. This has resulted in an increase in agri sector output from 2.9% in 2016 to 6.8% in 2018 and a projected 6.4% in 2019. Industry growth has increased from 4.3% in 2016 to 15.7% in 2017, 10.6% in 2018, and a projected 8.8% in 2019. And the growth in the service sector has almost doubled from 2.8% in 2016 to 5.4% in 2019. So quite clearly, ladies and gentlemen, when you look at the real sector, we promise that we will move the economy from taxation to production. And the real sector, you will definitely see we have reduced the taxes and we have seen production going up with the interventions we are making in agriculture and industry, and it is good economic management. Ladies and gentlemen, Ghanaian society, I want to talk about the formalization of our economy. Ghanaian society and micro small businesses continue to be largely informal. In such an environment, access to the services targeting the delivery of public services to those who need these services the most tends to be difficult. And in most cases, it depends on who you know. For the banking sector, lending rates are high, partly because of the high information problems in establishing identity and in verifying ownership of property. These have to change if we are aspiring to become a modern middle-income economy. It is for all these reasons that we are aggressively pursuing the agenda to formalize the Ghanaian society through digitization. With digitization, we are introducing new and more efficient ways of doing things, and we are curbing corruption. So far, the agenda, we've started the issue of national ID cards. This is something that has been on the agenda for a very long time. But thankfully, by the grace of God, by the end of this year, Ghana will have a fully functioning national ID card system. That is fantastic. As at last Friday, we had over 8 million people who have been registered. Currently, we are registering about 115,000 people every day. By the end of March, we would have 12 million people registered, and soon after, we should hit our target of 16 million people to be registered. And that is going to be a major change for this country. Most people don't even understand the huge implication of having a unique identifier for everybody. It will be the anchor for integrating all databases in the country. Currently, less than 2 million people are registered for tax identification numbers. Less than 2 million out of our population of 30 million. But once we complete the national ID exercise this year, our proposal is to convert all the national ID numbers into TIN numbers. So immediately you do that, you will have 60 million plus tax identification numbers for everybody. A big problem will have been solved, and we would have brought everybody into the tax net. And that will be a real major accomplishment by Nana Akufo-Addo. We've implemented the digital address system. There's no location in Ghana today on water or land that does not have a unique address. DVLA, we have digitized driver's licenses and vehicle registrations. We've digitized the passport office. So today, getting a passport is very easy. If you go online, we've made the ports paperless. You can renew your NHIS on your mobile phone. Mobile money interoperability has been brought, and you have interoperability between bank accounts and mobile wallets and within different companies. By the way, mobile money interoperability that we have introduced in Ghana is the first of its kind in Africa. The first of its kind. There's no country in Africa that has this type of mobile money interoperability. And places like Kenya only have interoperability between the telcos. No country has been able to achieve interoperability between the mobile wallets, the telcos, and the bank accounts. We are the only country that has been able to do that. And because we have done that, we are going to reap a lot of benefits from it. We're going to reap a lot of benefits and bring a lot of people into financial inclusion. Thanks to the Bank of Ghana, next month, in March, Ghana will launch what we call the Universal QR Code payment system next month, which will make it possible for all retailers, including the people who sell Kofi Brookman and Wache on the street. All retailers will be able to have the capacity to receive payments from their customers directly on their mobile phone. Directly, without a point of sale device being necessary. This is a major transformation. All retailers, you'll be able to receive even Trotro, if you want to pay by your mobile wallet, they'll receive it. They'll have their own QR code, right? Maybe Trotro owners will be very happy because maybe they don't get the full account. But everybody will be able to receive. So watch sellers, and so you don't have to keep a lot of cash if you are selling things, so that armed robbers will come and get your cash. If we all start paying using our Momo or bank card, we'll just pay it through the mobile phone and the matter will be finished. Your money will be in your bank account. We are introducing this. The first country in Africa to introduce a universal QR code is Ghana, and we are introducing it next month. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not all. As I said, we have put in place the pillars, and it's now time for us to reap the benefits of what we have put in place. Ladies and gentlemen, we have completed a pilot, and on February 18th, that is in less than 2 weeks' time, I will launch a nationwide mobile application that will allow ECG customers to buy units for their meters through their mobile phone at any time. So, if it is 2 a.m. in the morning and you have run out of units, you pick up your mobile phone, put in the digits, and the meter will come on, and all of it will go. So, we will launch this on February the 18th by the grace of God. And I must add, you will also be able to buy units for someone else. So it's not just for you, and so it will create problems for people. So you get a call at 3 a.m. in the morning, say, bra, me units no asanwo. To be mommy. So we are going to create a new problem. But digitization is going to reduce a lot of inefficiency and make life easier for all our people and reduce a lot of corruption in the system. And this is what we are doing. We have linked the emergency 112 number with a digital address system. As you know, we have delivered ambulances, one constituency, one ambulance, and we have linked all the ambulances. We can tell from the command center where each ambulance is at any time in the country, where each ambulance is. We've also linked the ambulances to the digital address system. So if you use your Ghana Post GPS system to call the ambulance center will know exactly where you are, your address, your digital address, the exact location. And it is important that all of us get used to using the Ghana Post GPS, because sometimes you may be in your home and armed robbers are attacking. You need to call the police, but you don't have time to explain exactly where your house is, because it is maybe in some lungu somewhere, right? That you have to, if you use your Ghana Post GPS to call 112 or the emergency button, immediately the command center will know that this is the address where you are calling from. And then the police will come there immediately. You don't need to explain anything. You just say, I need help. That's all. I'm under attack. So you do it. So we have linked the Ghana Post GPS with the emergency system and the ambulance system. And Ghana has now got a working ambulance system. In addition to help the ambulances, we have employed drones to deliver critical medicines and blood across many health facilities in the country. And Ghana today is the world's leading drones medical supplier. We are in the lead. The world's leading supplier of medicines by drone. It's a remarkable technology that is saving lives. Snake bites, mothers giving birth in very remote areas, we are able to get to them. And we will continue to do this. So ultimately, digitization of the economy will improve efficiency and reduce corruption and de-risk the business environment. And for me, one of the exciting things about this digitization, because when I was at the Bank of Ghana as deputy governor, I kept dealing with this issue. And we kept talking, how do we bring down interest rates? It's a big, big issue. The surest way to bring down interest rates is to formalize the economy. So that when you go to the bank, they will know your identity. This is who you are. They know where you live. So there is no risk, or the risk is minimized in lending to you. So for me, when we digitize this economy, you will see interest rates also beginning to come down. And I'm very excited about this country. I believe that in another 2 to 3 years, the Ghana we are seeing today will be a very different Ghana. A very different Ghana. It's not long. Give us another 2 to 3 years. When we put all this together, it will be a new Ghana for you. And I'm very excited that the promise that Nana Akufo-Addo made to modernize this country, we are in a position to do so. Ladies and gentlemen, to allow access to the internet across public tertiary institutions and senior high schools, government has awarded the contract for the provision of free Wi-Fi to all senior high schools and tertiary institutions. There is so much knowledge. There is so much knowledge on the internet, and we have to allow our senior high schools to access that knowledge. And we promise free Wi-Fi, and we are going to deliver free Wi-Fi to all senior secondary schools. So the program is going to kick off this year. The program will kick off this year, and an initial set of tertiary schools and senior high schools will be the kicking off, including KNUST, by the way. You will be in the initial set of schools. Once we are talking about senior high schools, I want to talk a little bit about free SHS. Dr. Yao Ejuchum is here. He's the master, but he has taught me a few things. I will say, I must say, Dr. Matthew Napo and his deputy, they've done an excellent job on free SHS. And Dr. Yao Ejuchum. Ladies and gentlemen, the empirical evidence is very persuasive that the key to economic transformation is human capital, not natural resources. There are many countries with natural resources, but it hasn't helped them in any way. The evidence shows that what matters is human capital. This is why President Nana Akufo-Addo has placed an emphasis of making sure that every Ghanaian child, regardless of the financial circumstances of the parent, will have access to free high school education. This was the promise we made prior to the election in 2016. And it is a promise that we have fulfilled. I must say that the free SHS policy is the most significant social intervention program introduced in Ghana since independence. There's no doubt about it. Since independence, it is the most significant. We are investing for the future. We are investing and building capacity for the future of this country. And we have to think about the future, not about ourselves. However, in introducing this free SHS, we had a big challenge. We did not have sufficient infrastructure in most schools to accommodate the increased numbers. The free SHS has resulted in a 69% increase in enrollment. 69% in enrollment. Many of these students would have been sitting at home. Today, 1.2 million children are benefiting from free SHS. The question that we faced when we tried to implement this free SHS policy, the question that we faced was, if we don't have enough infrastructure, how can we tell whose child should stay at home and whose child should go to school? Who should stay at home? In response to this challenge, we introduced the innovative double-track system as a temporary solution to the problem while we construct new schools. The thinking here with the double-track system is very similar to how our churches have the first service and the second service and the third service with the same building. Because the church has been built, but the people are many. So all of them want to come and hear the word of God on Sunday. So should we say to people, Ayema Tinafie, or can we say, you come for first service, you come for second service, you come for third service, and all of you will hear the word of God? So this is our innovative solution and a temporary solution to a problem that we face. We'll say, okay, let's leverage our existing schools. Some people will come at one time, go home, and another set will come. We are not saying this is how it's going to be, but this is the temporary solution whilst we build more and more schools to do this. So I would say that it is better to educate a child even under a tree than to let them be sitting home. It's better to educate a child. Because if we had said that they should not be, we should not do double track, it means we could not have implemented free SHS. We would have been saying, let's wait to finish them. In fact, if you apply the same logic, National Health Insurance, we couldn't have implemented. Because we would have said, let's wait and build all the hospitals before we implement National Health Insurance. It was introduced in 2003, but even today in 2020, we are still building hospitals. But we have to make a start. And this is why Nana Akufo-Addo said, let us implement this double track. Let us build the schools, and in good time, they will replace the double track system with a single track for everybody. Those who are criticizing the double track system have not been able to offer one alternative. Not one alternative. They are just saying, I will abolish the double track. But they won't tell you what they are going to replace it with. And they cannot tell you because abolishing the double track means abolishing free SHS. That is what it is. Because you have to be able to tell me, you can all reason, tell me what you are going to do. They cannot tell us. Up to now, they've been criticizing free SHS since 2008. Up to now, they don't have an alternative. So, this is why government is investing in the construction of schools and new infrastructure. And I must say, it was very heartwarming when we read about a request from the government of Kenya. The government of Kenya has asked our own good ministers of education to come and teach them how to make the double track work for their country. I know that Dr. Yao Educhum was there to give them a brief on what we are doing. And they have sent a letter requesting the Minister for Education, Dr. Matthew Poku Prempe, to come and teach them how to do the double track system in Kenya so that they can leverage it. So let us appreciate what we have. We are thinking long term, but we are not going to compromise the education of our children. Ladies and gentlemen, we need a government that is committed to the free SHS system. A government that is prepared to commit the resources to finance it. Can we trust free SHS to someone who did not believe in it in the first place? Can we trust free SHS to someone who said it was a gimmick? Can we trust it to someone who said if he had 2 billion Ghana cedis, he would not spend it on free SHS? Can you trust free SHS with someone who says he would abolish the double track but has no alternative? We cannot take that risk. You can only trust the free SHS system with Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. He's the only person you can trust the free SHS system with. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the key promises that Nana Akufo-Addo made was to ensure that the poor are not excluded from access to infrastructure. This is the rationale behind the setting up of the development authority. And after just 3 years in office, there has been a remarkable provision of infrastructure for the poor and deprived communities across the country. We have undertaken and are undertaking many projects that matter to the poor in our villages and communities, in addition to projects in the urban towns and cities. These include water, toilets, markets, school blocks, health facilities, police stations, and so on. The massive investment in water and sanitation infrastructure, for example, has resulted in an increase in the number of open defecation-free communities from 410 in 2016 to over 4,700 communities by the end of 2019. This is major increase. We will outdoor, ladies and gentlemen, we've done a lot of work putting together the data on infrastructure because we want to show the country what we have done in every district and constituency in the country. We've put all this data together and it is just remarkable. I'm sure it will surprise a lot of Ghanaians. But today, we are going to focus on the data on our manifesto promises By April in the next quarter, we will present the data on infrastructure, and it was going to be a very remarkable piece of data. So, ladies and gentlemen, this year, the president has said, is the year of roads. It's the year of Amoako Ata, the roads minister. And I can assure you that so much is going on, the resources are being put together. And Ashanti, you will see that this year is the year of roads, Ampa. Very, very soon, you will see that this year, Ampa is the year of roads. We are mobilizing, and a lot of roads, critical roads, have started, and we will be taking off very, very soon. And so, let's be patient, and you will see what we are doing. Let me now come to our manifesto promises. Ladies and gentlemen, it is clear that so much has been done in the management of the economy. But how has this translated into the fulfillment of our manifesto promises to the people of Ghana? In tracking and measuring our progress after 3 years for each of these commitments, in a way that is intuitive and easily understood by the generality of Ghanaians, we have adopted 3 metrics or 3 categories in assessing our manifesto promises. We have divided the assessment into 3 categories. One is promises delivered. These are promises we have fully implemented. So we have delivered on those promises. Then we have promises that we are delivering. So if you take a promise like free SHS, we have delivered on it. So we'll count it under promises delivered. Then there are those that we are delivering. We've started delivering, but we haven't completed. Like one district, one factory. We have started the process. We've created a number of factories, but we are ongoing, like one village, one dam, and so on. They have not yet completed the process, but we are on course. It is on track, and we are moving. And then there are those that are pending, or those that we haven't started work on at all, like the passage of the consumer protection law that we said we will do. We haven't yet done it. Ladies and gentlemen, we have tabulated a total of 388 promises in our manifesto. That's quite a large number in total. And what we are looking at for the overall score of our assessment, we are just looking at the raw count of the promises. Of the 388 promises, how many have you delivered? How many are you delivering? How many are pending? That is essentially the raw count. There's no weighting attached to each sector or anything. It's just the raw count of the promises. And I must say, and it is very, very important to note, that this is the first time in the history of Ghana that any political party has come to the people with an assessment of its promises to the people. No other party has done this. This is the first time this is happening, and we think it's good for the governance of this nation. And we encourage all other parties who have governed in the past, it's not too late. They can come with their manifestos and tell us how much was actually accomplished. No government has done this. So let us look at the promises that we have delivered. And there are quite a lot. As I said, we have 388 promises. If you look at the agri sector, we said we will ensure that farming inputs are available in the farming communities at affordable prices, and we have delivered. We promised to support private seed growers to increase supply of improved seeds to farmers. We've delivered. Promised to reintroduce compensation payments under cocoa disease control payments program. We've delivered. Promised to expand local processing of cocoa. We've delivered. Promote capital ranching and facilitate land acquisition for its development. We've delivered. Provide patrol boats to stop foreign fishing vessels. We have delivered. We collaborate with the private sector to develop infrastructure for inland farming. We have delivered. placed fisher folk directly in charge of subsidized inputs at local outlets. We've delivered. Encourage local poultry processing. We have delivered. Support accelerated development of selected products, including grains and vegetables. We have delivered. Increase subsidies on retail prices of seeds and fertilizers. We've delivered. Support selected products with storage, transportation, and marketing. We've delivered. Reform and revive the national buffer stock. We have delivered. Improve fertilizer distribution. We have delivered. Have discussions with Burkina Faso for a more controlled spillage of the Bagri Dam. We have delivered. Revive the Grains Development Authority. We have delivered. Establish the Ghana Commodity Exchange. We've delivered. Restore overall macro stability. We have delivered. Reduce the rate of government borrowing. We have delivered. Reduce interest rates. We have delivered. Shift from taxation to production. We have delivered. Enact the Fiscal Responsibility Law. We have delivered. Fiscal Council. We have delivered. Financial Stability Council. We have delivered. Banking the unbanked. We have delivered. Abolish the special import levy. We have delivered. Abolish 17.5% VAT on medicines. We have delivered. 17.5% VAT on financial services. We have delivered. Abolish 5% real estate VAT. We have delivered. Abolish 17.5% VAT on domestic airline tickets. We have delivered. Reduce VAT on micro and small enterprises from 17.5% to 3%. We have delivered. Offer tax incentives to young entrepreneurs. We have delivered. Fix the basics of the government machinery to make it work in acquiring driver's licenses, passports, registering businesses, and so on. We have delivered. Encourage the colleges of education to upgrade their curricula to ensure they produce graduates that will teach well-equipped and critical thinking population. We have delivered. Undertake a national audit of skills and competencies in a bid to align training opportunities and resources to respond to national and local human resource demands. We have delivered. Ensure proper decentralization of teacher recruitment management. We have delivered. Restore teacher training allowance. We have delivered. Restore allowances to Arabic instructors. We have delivered. Restore book and research allowances to lecturers. We have delivered. Introduce history of Ghana as a subject in primary schools. We have delivered. Integrate school sports as part of school activities. We have delivered. Abolish the payment of utility bills by students. We have delivered. Redefine basic education from kindergarten to include senior high school, covering vocational, agricultural, and technical schools. We have delivered. Implement free SHS. We have delivered. Increase the amount of loans to the student loan scheme. We have delivered. Develop the 10-year power master plan to meet the medium-term, long-term needs, energy needs. We have delivered. End doomsaw. We have delivered. Reduce electricity tariffs. We have delivered. Ensure procurement of new power projects are executed primarily through PPP and IPP arrangements. We have delivered. Ensure there is sufficient reserve margin to ensure stability of our energy system. We have delivered. So this is just a few of those that we have delivered. Ladies and gentlemen, if you put all of this together, and we're making the data available, because it is, of all the three, in all, as I said, we made 388 promises in our manifesto. The most recent validation exercise that we undertook at the end of January 2019 shows that we have either delivered or we are delivering on 78% of our promises. We have either delivered or we are delivering on 78% of our promises. Of course, this 78% is an aggregate figure. You can go to the sectoral breakdown which we provide to show you what we are doing for each sector. You can see that on the economy, we can show you what we have done for each. But if you can go to the percentages for each sector, we can show you that if you look at youth and sports, we have delivered, or we are delivering 79%. You go to trade and industry, 82% with 18% pending. Tourism and creative arts, about 46% with 54% pending. Social development, 70%. Security, 70%, and so on. Education, 94%. The economy, 80%. Chieftaincy, 80%. Foreign affairs, 100%. Governance, corruption, and public accountability, 53%. Health, 65%. Infrastructure, 78%. So you can see the breakdown. And all of this, we are going to put it on the internet for everybody to go and interrogate the data themselves. We are going digital. This one is not green book. So the website, we are putting it on the internet. If you go to the website, and everybody can go, it should be live by now, www.delivery.gov.gh, and you will find it. When we outdoor our infrastructure data, it will also be there. You will search for infrastructure projects by constituency, by sector, and so on. But for now, we are looking at the manifesto promises, and if you look at the dial, we are at 78%. But this is just after 3 years. 3 years of work. And we are still working to do more. We are still working to do more. And as I said, this is the first time any government in our democratic dispensation has brought its performance in front of the people to say this is what we promised and this is what we are doing. Ladies and gentlemen, what is undeniable is that there has been a remarkable turnaround in the Ghanaian economy. Over the last 3 years, the difference is one of vision, dedication, and competence. We have outperformed the NDC in virtually every sphere of the economy. I mean every sphere. We have appropriately combined economic theory as taught in our textbooks with the collective experience of the economic management team and cabinet under the leadership of the President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, in the management of the economy. Can you imagine, ladies and gentlemen, can you imagine an engineer, a doctor, a lawyer, or an accountant who, after qualifying, decides not to use what they learned in school? Say, forget about everything you learned in the textbooks when you are actually practicing. Can you imagine that? Unfortunately, if you don't take your time and read and understand your textbooks in a subject like economics, you will end up mismanaging the economy with a confirmed economic management techniques with disastrous results. Isn't it? If you don't read your textbooks and understand them well, we have seen it. You end up with a confirmed economic management techniques, which will result in disaster. I have no doubt that the NDC will come out and challenge what I have said here today. But when they come out, just ask them to bring contrary data. They shouldn't just talk. They should come with contrary data to contradict what I have said here today. And I bet you, when you challenge them, they will either start insulting you or they will run away to Burkina Faso. That is what is going to happen. Ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, I would like to say that even though we have made a solid start and it is a start. In our 3 years in office, we are not yet where we want Ghana to be. We have done a lot. We've established the Zongo Development Fund and all of that. Major things. But we are not yet where we want to be. We still have more to do. This year has been designated by the President as the year of roads, and the country will soon see evidence of this. We have many more schools and hospitals to construct. We have malaria to eradicate. We have jobs to create, the digitization agenda to complete, and so on. We also need to consolidate the gains that we have made so far. We will be the first to admit that we have not attained perfection in everything that we have done. But we are modernizing and transforming this country in fundamental ways for the future. So please, keep faith with us. Keep faith with the President, Nana Akufo-Addo. The future is bright if we stay the course. That is why we are asking the good people of Ghana to give Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo 4 more to do more for you. Thank you for your attention. God bless you, and God bless our homeland, Ghana.
Joboy Nana doju masu ampa Dejoma Pacho tunyunu Nana doju masu ampa.
Beauty and Pharma Limited by Yenche. Nanso aboma pinanya won small businesses. Enti wo trend yen for 200 Ghana cedis brand yen shewudwa. Wo benya quality products such body splashes, deodorant